Welcome to the Institute for Family Health. This is part 1 of a 4-part series on getting ready for birth. One of the most important things that you can think about is considering your birth support team. Who do you want in the room with you through labor and delivery? In most hospitals, you'll be allowed to have at least one support person with you. You might consider having a professional birth support person called a doula join you in the birth room. Doulas offer continuous support both emotionally and physically through massage, touch. Doulas reduce cesarean rates and empower women and their partners. Ask your maternal health advocate about volunteer doulas at the Institute for Family Health. So we're going to break down what exactly labor is. Labor is the process of childbirth, from the start of uterus contractions to delivery. The baby moves out of the uterus, through the pelvis, and out of the vagina. You can see here in this diagram the red outline of the uterus. This will grow from the size of a grapefruit to its eventual capacity to hold the baby, as well as the amniotic sac and fluid, which we call bag of waters, the baby's umbilical cord, and the placenta, which we'll talk about a bit later. At the bottom of the uterus, you can see a thicker red tunnel with a line in the middle. This is the cervix. It's the opening or exit of the uterus. And as the contractions happen, this will cause the cervix to dilate, and that thick red tunnel will soften, shorten, and eventually disappear at 10 centimeters. There are 3 stages of the delivery. The first stage of labor has 2 parts: early labor and active labor. Labor may last 18 to 24 hours on average for a first birth. The second stage is pushing, where the baby moves down and out of the birth canal. This stage may last anywhere from 10 minutes to 3 hours. The third stage is the delivery of the placenta, which happens shortly after the delivery of the baby. For some women, it's very clear when their labor begins. For others, it's not as clear. Your labor may start with some of these earlier signs, including losing your mucus plug, which basically looks like what it sounds. The plug of mucus that may be tinged with some brown or pink color when you go to wipe or take a shower. You may also experience some cramping or low backache, a bit like menstrual cramps, or diarrhea. 2 clear-cut signs that labor has begun are strong, continuous, and regular contractions of the uterus that get more intense and get closer together with time, or having your water break. So this table is something that you might just pause the video on and take a good look at. It breaks down some of the differences between true labor and false labor. With true labor, the contractions may be irregular at first, and usually they become more regular, longer, closer together, and stronger over time. Whereas with false labor, the false contractions are usually irregular and short, but they don't get closer together and they don't get stronger. We sometimes refer to false labor contractions as Braxton-Hicks contractions. Braxton-Hicks contractions might begin much earlier in your pregnancy, in your 2nd or 3rd trimester, where it's a short burst of contraction that goes away. With true labor, walking will usually make the contractions stronger, and lying down does not make them go away. With false labor, walking doesn't make them any stronger, and lying down will make them go away. With true labor, you'll usually feel the contraction in your low back, and the pain or the sensation will move towards the front. With false labor, you usually feel the contraction at the top of the uterus or in the groin, but not as much in the back. And finally, in true labor, the cervix will soften, thin, and open. False labor isn't this productive, so the cervix may soften, but it does not thin or open. So in the future part of the series, we'll talk a bit more about each of those stages of labor in detail.